And the white-owned media space is shunning us. We're not getting, the love we deserve. If we're two white boys on a podcast, fuck.
With those numbers.
These numbers.
The podcast.
Thank you. So the white-owned media can't look to them to help us out. Do you get me? And those who get what we're doing, like Genologist and some other, white-owned brands who actually help the podcast and advertise, or some black executives at these big companies.
Yeah.
That's where we get the money from. Do you get me? So not from the numbers, like as in directly from the numbers. And the sad thing is, at some point, everyone is spending to consume.
Sure.
If you're buying Wi-Fi and you're spending, or you're using 10 gigs of your Wi-Fi, that 1 gig is a 10th of your Wi-Fi bill. But it's not coming to us, going to the supplier. You know what I mean? So it would be a game changer if we had more members and people are like, you know what, I like these guys' content. Yeah. $10, 10 rand, what's 10? Everyone when they leave their house.
Everyone when they leave their house. 100, 99.
Yeah.
Bro, people don't understand, man.
Like it's power.
We did an episode with Mom Antoinette Sitole.
Mom Antoinette Sitole.
And
Peter Peterson.
So listen to this. Listen to this, bro. We shoot Wednesday. Finish shooting 6 p.m. Boys get back to Pretoria maybe 7.
And they probably stay there because it's cheaper than staying in Joburg.
Right?
Yeah.
They have to edit the show, which has to air 3 p.m. the next day. You know how crazy it is editing, mastering.
The team knows.
You understand?
Yes.
To do a show and upload it the next day is hectic, right?
That's almost impossible.
It's a department on its own. In fact, like grading is a department on its own.
Yes.
Editing, cutting is a department on its own.
Right?
Sound is a department on its own.
Right? Now, the show is up at 3 p.m. and everybody wants to complain about the subtitles.
Sure.
They don't understand that the same guy who's doing the color grading is doing the subtitles. The same guy who's doing the sound is doing the subtitles. The same guy who's doing the editing. So we doing the best we can with the little we have. But if you guys were to support, we would have a department just for subtitles.
And so I might not even take a KFM gig
My soul for money, man.
He earns $1 million. No,
you're fair.
Money, like I said, if the deal makes sense. The deal was they allow me to do my podcast the way I've always been doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if the money makes sense, of course. But honestly, do you think you wanna, being like, as much as I love broadcasting, but no one wants to be. You can't bind yourself that much if you're really, really good.
Yeah.
Unless I don't have time, I don't have a daughter. Because I've got a daughter to drive to school, a daughter to pick up from school, a daughter to help with homework.
Sure.
So I want my time is freed up as much as possible. If I'm rich enough, though, right? Then I can free up my time.
Did the podcast conversation come up in the negotiations with KFM?
Of course, it was an elephant in the room, and it was one of the first few things that came up. Because I was like, guys, let me not waste your time. Let's talk about this first. You know what I mean?
Elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Eh?
What happened?
I'm here to sign a contract, but I'm gonna say I've got it.
Okay.
My lawyer's going through it, but I agreed. So it means they were like, it's cool,
They're not gonna mess with your podcast.
No, they won't mess with the podcast. They won't touch the podcast. They won't touch how I am on the podcast.
Dope.
Yeah,
I'd like to take a step back. So,
and I think they considered that before. Sorry.
Sure. At some point, some of the social media companies had issues with the fact that data companies were making a lot of money, even though it's the social media companies that are bringing all the posts to the yard.
Yes, they make money, bro.
And around that time, I started thinking about this whole concept of how to monetize. AfriForum obviously got it right, and I don't know if it's a fight for blacks versus white mentality, because AfriForum has 300,000 members contributing 150 on average per month.
Wow.
So you can do the maths of how much money they make. And it's always been, why are black people not doing stuff like this? Like Andile Mqintama and EPLF, why are they not getting their members to contribute monthly? And then at some point I started thinking, but this is why brands come. You're like, we've got 600,000 subscribers. They probably buy your products. Why can't you give us 10 Rand from each of those products? It's not an easy conversation, but that's where they were meant to come in, because asking people to give 10 Rand, 99 Rand is hard. It's very hard. But those people give money to other things, and we're meant to mastermind and get, but it's tough, and it's always a matter of how do you go around getting this? because the money's there. Your chillers are spending money with a lot of brands out there.
And a lot of things out
and
there.
those brands are meant to come to you and be like, thank you. This is for what you've done. And it's just a matter of how do we nuanced get that thing to work, because it's meant to work. $10 is nothing.
I think with time,
It's nothing.
Everyone spends more than that just by stepping out of their home.
I think with time though, because if somebody really, really loves your platform and your content, and they feel they're sort of getting value from it, they'll be willing to pay for it.
So people really love
I'm not
the
paying
platform.
as a chiller because I know you guys, and it's because of the type of content that I'm getting. It's because of the type of mood that it puts me in when I'm there.
Sure.
It's because of the type of memories it ignites in my mind. I come from the YFM generation.
Sure.
Yeah.
There isn't anything out there in the broadcasting, in the media space for me when I watch. It gives me, as fun as I mean, I love getting into those moments of my YFM days.
Sure.
And if there is one platform that gets me there is
Podcast and
it's
chill.
the podcast and chill.
But also, I gotta make sure that you guys understand we're not driven by money.
Yeah.
We're just
No.
stating something that we've spoken about and that we think would literally change the podcasting game like this.
People think we're fucking the podcasting game up, like we're doing so well. But if the thing we're talking about now happened,
I totally agree. We've got less than 20 something members who are paying monthly. We've just opened that join thing, I think about 2 months ago.
yeah, the membership.
We just have a little over 20 people that are willing to pay monthly. I'm like, wow. If all of our 80,000 subscribers can be paid.
It's crazy.
So this is
It's crazy. The cameras you get,
Bro!
how many more podcasts would you be able to put on? How many people? How many souls would we unearth?
Oh!